This is a video review for the US edition masterpiece Rodimus Prime. This is a Toys R Us exclusive and tends to retail for around $60, depending on the store. Unfortunately, it really isn't worth the $60. Let's start with the box. This is a typical US edition masterpiece packaging. As such, it lacks the window flap you often get with the Japanese toys, like this. See how nice that looks? I guess you could argue that it's just tradition and that Hasbro never puts a window flap on their packaging. But then, explain this. All we get is a lousy stock photo on the back. It's not even transformed correctly. Look at this. I guess Matrix Power gives you a belly. I realize that this is a masterpiece toy and that the transformation is very complex, but this isn't even the hard part. Enough about the box. Most collectors are just going to throw it away. It's what's in the box that counts, right? The good news is that it all looks fantastic. I know there have been a lot of complaints about the color scheme. While the original edition was based on the character's appearance in the 1986 movie, this version is based more on the original toy, hence the red shins and the inclusion of the Target Master. It actually looks quite nice in person. I even like the gray plastic they use for the face. It works better than you might think. So while I have no shortage of complaints about this toy, the appearance isn't one of them. Unfortunately, the problems show up as soon as you start to handle the toy. Let's start with the Target Master, since it's the first thing I took out of the packaging. My first impression was entirely positive. Nothing seemed to be wrong with it until I started to transform it. This little piece that holds the barrels in place fell right off. I saw that the screw was still in place, so I removed it, put the piece back in, and screwed it back down. I set it down and started to take the other pieces out of the box. Along comes my brother, who knows nothing about these Transformers. He doesn't know what a Target Master is or what it turns into, but he insists on fiddling with any new thing I get anyway. He picked up the Target Master, and to my surprise, he transformed it correctly into gun mode in 10 seconds flat. I'm going to give the designers credit. This thing is so intuitive that someone who doesn't know what a Target Master is can figure it out. Then he started to transform it back, and that piece fell off again. I said, "Don't tell me you lost the screw." He said, "No, the screw is still in there." And we figured out the problem. The hole in this piece is wider than the screw head, and that is supposed to hold it down. That's some embarrassingly bad design right there. Unfortunately, Rodimus's problems are even worse. I couldn't see anything wrong with it in the package, and believe me, I looked. Problems showed up as soon as the twist ties were cut. See this? This arm was broken clean off in the box. Notice something rattling around in the shoulder? This is the peg. This is what makes that ratchet joint work. As you turn the shoulder, this spring snaps the joint back into place. It's what keeps the joint stiff, and it's what makes the nice click when you move the joint. So how does this spring stay on? They use the bane of toys everywhere, the dreaded pin. I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera, but there's actually a crack that runs along the peg from where they jam the pin through it. Now imagine for a moment already weakened plastic with a powerful spring tugging on it. This is what happens. The whole joint tore itself apart as it sat in the plastic tray. That's not good. I don't think I could fix this. I could have the same problem slowly developing. There have been multiple reports of this joint breakage. Check eBay. I've seen a few out there that are broken just like this one, and it's always the left shoulder. Something is definitely going wrong when they ram the pin through this peg. You know what bothers me the most about this? They should have known better. How many toys have broken in the past because a metal pin put too much pressure on surrounding plastic that was too thin? The original Hot Rod toy also had metal pins in its shoulders, and the joints were known to break. Don't be surprised if you've never heard of this. These problems were nowhere near as widespread as Jazz's roof, or Mirage's waist, or even Optimus Prime's hips. But it was there, and Takara considered the problem so inherent in the design that when they reissued the toy, they changed the design, replacing the metal pin with a little plastic nub. It works. I realize that metal pins will never be removed from the toys completely, but if they must be used, then the plastic has to be strong enough and thick enough to handle the pressure. Unfortunately, the plastic used here just isn't strong enough. Broken shoulders aren't the only problem to worry about with this toy. Many owners have reported problems with the feet breaking or being already broken in the box. This is unfortunately quite common. One unlucky owner reported that his had a broken foot, so he took it back for replacement, and the new one had a broken foot too. It's the red one, the same red plastic as this part that breaks in the shoulder. All the known breakage issues with this toy involve that same red plastic. Don't buy this toy. With all the problems out there, it's just bound to have something wrong with it. If the shoulder isn't broken, then it's the foot, or sometimes the other foot, or sometimes it's even both feet. Sometimes the Target Master has 2 left legs. Sometimes it has 2 right legs. Maybe you'll buy one that's good, but then the problem with the shoulder is something that develops over time. Some owners have had one that seemed to be fine, and then the springs in the feet slowly rip them apart. Just don't bother. If you're really itching to spend those $60, buy something that's worth it. See this? This is the sole of Chogoku Jabungle. I got one of these on eBay for around $60, just what you would pay for the masterpiece Rodimus Prime. But unlike that disaster, this is made of high quality material and has no quality control problems. See, this has ratchet joints too, but unlike the Rodimus, these ratchet joints don't tear themselves apart. For the same price you get the deluxe packaging, superior quality and engineering, a stand to hold many accessories, and it even comes with a bonus model kit. The model even has its own gun and extra hands, and there's room for them on the stand as well. The only problem that anyone has reported with this toy is that sometimes some of the Jabungle accessories don't like to stay on. You can get them to stay on if you really force them, and you're not afraid to do so because the toy is made from such sturdy materials. This is what I expect for $60. If you don't have one of these, pick one up. You don't have to settle for bad toys. If you must have a Rodimus Prime, wait for the upcoming Kabaya kit. I'll review that one when it comes out. If it's anything like this previous Kabaya kits, it will be awesome.